This video will teach you how to upload, code, and align artifacts in eVal. This is an important step in preparing for the summative evaluation. To begin with, you'll select a teacher. In this demo account, I'll be selecting Teacher A. Then you can click on the Artifacts tab in the left navigation, and a list of the artifacts that have already been uploaded will appear. If you want to add a new artifact, you'll click on the green Add Artifact button over here on the right side. This screen will appear, and you can select Add File, Add Website, or Add Professional Practice. Adding a file is any sort of JPEG, video file, Word document, anything like that. Adding a website, or adding a professional practice. This is useful if there's a practice that the teacher engages in regularly, but doesn't have a paper trail. For example, greeting students at the door by name, or using a call and response in the classroom. So things like that that don't necessarily have paper, or a picture of it wouldn't explain what was happening. Here you can add just a brief narrative about what the professional practice is. For this purpose, we'll go ahead and add a file, since that's the most common way to add an artifact. And we'll choose a local file. You can also access any of the following down here if the file is housed somewhere else. I'll go ahead and choose this 8th grade scope and sequence and add it here. Now you're given the option of adding a friendly title if you want to. And clicking Done. Now once you've done that, this box appears where you can code this artifact to whatever part of the Danielson framework you want, or you also have the option, if you come up here, to change it to the Danielson state if you would prefer to code it to one of the criterion. So we'll go ahead and move back to Danielson instructional, and I'll align the scope and sequence in planning and preparation. And you can click on as many components as are appropriate for this resource. And when you're finished, you can click Done. Now you also have the option of connecting that artifact to an observation if that scope and sequence, for example, connected to the observation that you saw in the classroom. But this is optional. You don't have to connect it to anything. You also have a box down here where you can provide a reason for your alignment or a reason for uploading that artifact. Now, once you're finished, you have a couple of choices. One is to save and close. If you choose Save and Close, the artifact is saved in eVal, but the teacher can't see that it's been uploaded. When you click Share Artifact, then both you and the teacher can see that this artifact is now uploaded and coded within eVal. So most of the time you'll choose Share Artifact. The only reason you may choose not to do that is if you're uploading a lot of different artifacts and then you're planning to go back and choose which ones are most indicative of the teacher's practice, then you might want to just save and close. But typically you'll want to share the artifact so that the teachers can see what's already present and where there might be some missing information. All right, so once that's uploaded, you come back to this list that shows all of the artifacts that have been uploaded for Teacher A. So right here under Source, you can see who has uploaded the artifact. If it says the principal has uploaded it, you have the option over here to edit that. So if you decided you changed your mind about which component it went to, you would be able to go ahead and make that change. The other source option is Teacher. So if the teacher has uploaded the artifact, then the teacher is also the one who has coded it to the component. In this case, you can view it, but you can't make changes to it. The person who uploads the artifact is the person who can make the changes. And then in the connected to right here, you can see whether it's connected to an observation, whether it's connected to student growth goals, or whether it's just an artifact that provides evidence of teacher practice, but isn't necessarily connected to an observation or to the student growth goals. So this is where you can see all of the artifacts, and you can see how they're coded. However, in this artifact tab, you can't align them to the rubric to indicate what level of performance this artifact demonstrates. In order to do that, in order to make an evidence package of the artifact, you'll need to come over here in the left navigator to the year-to-date evidence. When you click on year-to-date evidence, you'll be back in your rubric navigator view. And here you can see where there's collected evidence, but you know that those artifacts haven't been packaged yet. So you'll need to click on the component, and now you'll see that you've got two different artifacts that have been uploaded here. You can see it says type artifact. So we'll go ahead and click on the first one. This was an observation lesson plan from our imaginary teacher. And we'll go ahead and highlight a piece of the rubric. I'm just selecting something randomly. And I can create an evidence package from that artifact. Then I can go ahead and come back up here, and now we've got the scope and sequence. I click on that and it changes colors, and then I can highlight the part of the rubric that connects to that scope and sequence. Then I can cancel, or again I can hit create, and an evidence package has been created. So now you can see over here that we have two pieces of collected evidence and two pieces of packaged evidence. Once it's packaged, it can be used in the summative evaluation. If it's not packaged, it can't appear in the summative evaluation. So you want to make sure to go through those artifacts and get them all packaged if you want to use them. Now, one thing to note over here, when we looked in the artifact view, we can see that there is an artifact that's connected to the student growth goals. However, when we come over to the year-to-date evidence, we don't see any way to find that artifact. There's no 3.1 or 3.2, 6.1 or 6.2 over on this side. In order to see those, you need to come up here to the top and change it to the state 8. Because remember that the student growth goals are part of the state evaluation system. They aren't part of the original Danielson framework. So now if I click on C3, I have the option of 3.1 and 3.2. So now I can go ahead and take that ELA data collection that the teacher had uploaded, and I can create an evidence package out of it. So whenever you have an artifact that connects to the student growth goals, remember that you need to come up to the top and change the view in order to see that and get it aligned. All right, so that is how you align and score artifacts within eVal. One thing I do want to point out is that one artifact can be coded to several components. Artifacts should be representative of a teacher's overall practice. So you and the teacher do not need to upload a comprehensive mountain of hundreds of artifacts to capture every moment of a teacher's practice. You want to look for quality representative artifacts, and it's just fine to use those in more than one place. All right, so that's it for uploading and aligning and coding artifacts in eVal. Thank you very much.